Gaming Bolt presents 15 things you possibly didn't know about the Final Fantasy VII Remake. When Sony announced that Final Fantasy VII would be garnered with a remake back at the press conference at E3 2015, the audience was blown away with surprise and excitement. Now, over a year later, we are still awaiting the fruits of Square Enix's labor to receive a well-delivered RPG built around one of the most popular games of all time. Here's our list of 15 things we hope will get you up to speed about all things related to Final Fantasy VII Remake. Battle system changes. Battle system changes are inbound for the remake of Final Fantasy VII. Instead of being a turn-based RPG-style game, Square Enix are taking their notes and making it more like an action RPG. That means there won't be any turns between hits. It has also been promised by Square Enix that the newest battle system will be rich and exciting, and at the same time, it will appeal to traditional fans of the series. Fully voiced cast. The world of Final Fantasy VII is about to get extremely talkative. That's right, the remake is going to feature a fully voiced cast and is going to sound a lot like Final Fantasy VII Advent Children in that regard. So, how sad will it be when we see Cloud running out to save Aerith from certain death? We'll wait to find out. Furthermore, the Japanese cast of the game will be quite close to what was present in the Advent Children. May not be open world. One of the many aspects about the first game was the immersive feel of its environments and level. Cloud would visit towns, but to get there he'd traverse through several levels where many things could happen, from fighting enemies to finding secret items to even gathering teammates. For the time, it was fantastic. The remake of Final Fantasy VII might not feature an open world, but the developer is more focused on environments and how gameplay affects the environment. Some returning minigames. There were some classic minigames in Final Fantasy VII that we all remembered and enjoyed. The development team wants to add as many minigames from the original games as possible, but will it be all of them? No one knows for sure just yet, but we're hoping for some Chocobo fun. A multi-part series. Square Enix have made the controversial decision to release their game in a multi-part experience. How this will be received by the audience is something that remains to be seen. However, as of right now, they are making the game in different parts for a few different reasons. One reason is that Square Enix doesn't want to be sitting on the game for several years. They can deliver it much faster in parts. There's also the possibility that each part will be as big as a full version game. High graphics target. With the hardware ever evolving and becoming more powerful and more consistent than ever before, Final Fantasy VII Remake will try and enhance the game's graphics as much as they can. With a target from Square Enix to meet and exceed a high graphics mark, this can only mean good news for the oglers who are taken out of their world and transported to the world of video games. Seeing every strand of hair, every wrinkle in clothing, every speck of dirt that flies by is what Square Enix is known for: attention to detail. As of right now, the developers are targeting visuals as seen in Advent Children, a very massive goal indeed. Running on Unreal Engine 4. Bringing a classic world up to standard for today's standards of graphics excellence is no easy feat. Square Enix are often known for their luscious scenery and amazing worlds. Final Fantasy VII will be no different. That is why Square Enix has decided to go with Unreal Engine 4 in favor of their in-house Luminous engine. Why is that? Nobody knows yet. Original composer not returning. The original composer of Final Fantasy VII, Nobuo Uematsu, will not be making a return for the remake of the game. So who will be composing the game's original music score? Will it even be composed, or will they just shuffle over and enhance the already endearing music from the original? No new characters. Remakes are often not centered around introducing new plots, twists, and new characters, and this will be the case for Final Fantasy VII, the remake. The game will have no new characters involved, or at least no new characters that Square Enix would allow anyone to know. But when a game has great chemistry like the original did, does it even need new characters? In development since 2014. Can you believe this? It's insane to think how long it takes to build a game, especially one from Square Enix. Final Fantasy XV alone was in development for a decade. Having said that, Final Fantasy VII the Remake has been in development since before December 2014. Just 2 years and going on 3. That's only a tiny amount compared to a decade-long cycle, but at least we know Square Enix didn't just start the day they announced it. A true remake. As we get closer to the release of Final Fantasy VII, whenever that date is, those new and returning to the series should be fully aware that the version is not a remaster, but a true remake. What's the difference, you might ask? A remaster is a game that runs identical in almost every respect to the original, but has simple upgrades such as higher resolution and or better frame rate, i.e. compared to The Last of Us and The Last of Us Remastered. A remake is a game that undergoes a complete revamp. Whole scenarios might be taken out or replaced. Dialogue can be nothing like the original or enhanced substantially. Or it could be a totally new experience similar to when movies get a remake and don't resemble their origin in any way. Bigger than the original. When Final Fantasy VII makes its return, we can all be assured that it'll be bigger than the original. In fact, it turned out to be so big that Square Enix estimated the volume to be beyond what could fit in one entry. As we have already mentioned, the remake will be a multi-part series, so this will allow the developers to add greater exploration of certain areas, like the city of Midgar, and each entry will have its own unique story. Timed exclusive for PS4. Believe it or not, Final Fantasy VII will in fact be a timed exclusive for the PS4. Square Enix confirmed this information and said it will eventually make its way to other platforms. Does this mean longtime Microsoft fans who own an Xbox One will get a taste of one of the hottest games of all time? Or could it mean Nintendo fans will feel the experience on the up-and-coming Switch? Or could it be on both? And where does this leave the PC version? We won't know soon enough. Original producer, director, and scenario writer are working on the remake. For those interested about a behind-the-scenes look at what's going on in the development of Final Fantasy VII Remake, rest assured that the original producer, director, and scenario writer, Kitase, Nomura, and Nojima, are spearheading the team to push this title further along than the original. We should be receiving a greater depth because these developers know these characters inside and out and know exactly how they would react in any given moment. It's truly a great moment for the originals to be making a triumphant return. Added depth. It's always fun to see our most favorite characters return to the games we hold so tight to our heart. Some games from the past just don't translate as well in today's standards for gaming, however. Instances where something seems so serious and so real might just come off completely out of place in today's games. So Square Enix have decided they'll be adding an extra layer of depth to many of the characters in Final Fantasy VII, as this will be an important attribute in making this game in particular a grand masterpiece. And that'll be about it for this one. If you guys like what we're doing at Gaming Bolt, please consider subscribing to our channel, and I'll see you guys on the next video.